Happy Mindfulness Monday, everyone. Thank you for being here. Please know that you will be muted for the duration of the session. Feel free to communicate with myself and Dr. Rush and Brianna through the chat function. We do encourage you to join us on camera. It really helps establish a foundation of community when you're present. And if you're not in a space today or physically to turn your camera on, no worries. Just be present with us as much as you can, eliminating the distractions that might be externally around you. Our next live English session will be next Monday on August 8th. I will be guiding us through a mindful practice of how we can use tools of mindfulness to get a restful night's sleep. So if you're curious about what that means for you, you can tune in with me next week on August 8th. All right, so the Parkinson's Foundation offers other virtual programs each week. Our Wellness Wednesday programs, Fitness Fridays, which this week is our live Fitness Friday if you want to join us in Community for Movement. We also have our Expert Briefing series and our Spanish language series, Y Salud en Casa. Be sure to visit our website to see what's coming up and also to explore our archive videos on YouTube. Lots of subjects around Parkinson's disease that we can dive deeper in these webinars. So if you missed a live webinar, don't hesitate to go to our YouTube channel and see what we've got there. Our Wellness Wednesday this week will offer an introduction to help us understand Medicare and disability when we're living with Parkinson's disease. So this week's session will break down the essentials of Medicare, including what's covered, what's not covered, how it supports people with Parkinson's, and how to navigate those gaps that you might find in your care. And so we'll also explore the intersection of disability benefits and Medicare. You can register at parkinson.org/pdhealth. PD Health at Home is presented by the Light of Day Foundation. Many thanks to our sponsor, Light of Day, for their generous support in helping the foundation advance towards our mission. And now I'd like to welcome Dr. Taylor Rush back to guide us through mindfulness practice today. And I'll let you explain what we're going to be working on today. Thanks, Taylor.
Sure. Thank you, Krista. And it's so good to see everyone. I was scrolling through the comments here and looking at everyone's word of the day or word of this moment, if we're going to be mindful, right? And I really appreciate how candid everyone is being. And certainly we're going to see a whole array of emotions that everyone is bringing to the table today. And it's funny, I was just talking to someone earlier today, and they were saying how when they're talking to someone, they're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And they're truly asking, "How are they doing?" And the person's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And they're like, "No, I want you to like look me in the eye and how are you doing?" And they were saying that eye contact actually makes such a big difference in terms of then how candid the person is and telling them how they're actually doing. So thank you guys for being candid and being present with us here today. So I thought today we could talk a little bit about how we can utilize mindfulness for improving self-awareness of motor symptoms. So as we know with Parkinson's, motor symptoms can vary wildly from person to person in terms of what they experience on a day-to-day basis. But for a lot of people, sometimes it's hard to tell when certain symptoms might look different. So when a tremor has possibly increased, or maybe their steps are getting a little bit shorter or more shuffled, or maybe when posture is starting to stoop a little bit. And the interesting thing is that it's not necessarily that you aren't paying attention. It's actually because we know Parkinson's can affect the brain's ability to receive and interpret signals from the body. And what I will often hear from many of the patients that I see is that they may not notice it until they see a video or a picture of themselves and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's me and that's what my body looks like right now. It doesn't feel that way." Or I will often hear from care partners that they might be rather constantly prompting their loved one on sitting up straighter, walk a little bigger, try to, recognize that, okay, maybe, balancing, in certain precarious positions or with ladders are not a good idea. And and so this self-awareness that diminishes is incredibly common, and it and can manifest in multiple different ways. And so, one way of thinking about it is that your brain is like a radio, and it's receiving information and signals from the body. And when you're dealing with Parkinson's, it can create some static. So the information is definitely still there about tremor or stiffness or, again, postural changes, gait, but it may come through a bit more faintly or possibly with some delay. So, how we then relate this to mindfulness is that when we can be in the present moment without judgment, right? That's our general definition of mindfulness. We are able to then set awareness to certain things with a bit more acuity. So it's like turning up the volume knob and turning the dial until that signal is a little bit clearer and a little bit louder. So through some practice with mindfulness, we can then start to notice subtle changes maybe a little bit earlier without judgment. It's not saying, oh gosh, my shoulders are stooping again. Stop it. You need to sit up straight. It's more, okay, this is something that I'm noticing. What do I want to do in this moment to make it look different if I need to? So that way we have more choices in how we respond. And it's not a shame blame cycle that we're trying to perpetuate here or a frustration overwhelm kind of cycle. It's truly how can I notice my body with clarity in any given moment without judgment so that I can have the right set of tools and the right set of choices that I can make in that moment that might make the most sense for me. Okay. So this can then help us to sometimes listen to our body's cues a little bit more proactively. So maybe being able to adjust your posture before discomfort in your back or neck starts to set in. Maybe you can notice when your feet are getting a little shuffly or those stride lengths are shortening before fatigue or imbalance starts to become more prominent. And then maybe recognizing tremor and how it may be changing before it then becomes that cycle where, oh gosh, now my tremor is getting worse, and now I'm going to get anxious about it because my tremor is getting worse, which then makes it even more worse. So, how can we notice some of those things in those moments so that maybe you can take a deep breath? Maybe you can increase your stride length. Things that, again, with Parkinson's, we know these are not things that are always under voluntary control, but are there facets of control that you can have even in a situation where you don't have complete control? Okay. And how can we then meet those moments with a little bit more self compassion, a bit more kindness towards yourself? Because the goal here isn't to necessarily fix anything, it's being able to notice and accept what's going on, and then being able to make a choice about where we want to go next. Okay. So we're going to do a bit of a body scan exercise today. And we're going to move attention through a few different areas of the body. I want you to notice sensations that are present, and sometimes they can be pleasant sensations, sometimes they're neutral, sometimes they're uncomfortable. And that may include some of your Parkinson's symptoms, such as tremor or tightness. But you may also notice temperature. You may notice, areas that, as I will often tell patients, do you notice areas that are whispering, not just the ones that are yelling? And so if you notice any frustration or judgment as we attune to certain areas, that's okay. We're going to just practice trying to label it gently. So saying frustration is here, and then maybe just coming back to it with a little bit of curiosity. So what does this feel like right now? So we're shifting the interaction with our own bodies. So truly, you're doing this, well, if you can approach with an open mind, a kind heart, and just a willingness to simply be here and see what happens. Okay, so let's see what happens. So go ahead and get into whatever comfortable position feels best for you where you feel supported. So making sure that there's something behind you where you can feel your back is supported, Possibly having your feet on the floor where they can feel grounded, perhaps having your hands resting, on the arms of your furniture or possibly in your lap. And then you are welcome to either close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or just softly gaze at a fixed point a few feet in front of you. Whatever makes you feel more grounded and more present, okay? I just want you to take a moment to feel the weight of your body being supported by your chair, bed, couch, whatever is under you. And just for a moment, notice the points of contact that you are making with your furniture or your floor. Feeling that support of your back, the weight and contact your hips and pelvis and legs are making with the furniture under you. Maybe even feeling pressure points on your feet where they're making contact with the floor. Just getting a good sense of where your body is in relation to itself. And then slowly bring your attention to the breath. You don't have to make it slower or deeper. No change is necessary, but just notice the sensation of your breathing as you breathe in and breathe out. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of your chest or belly, or noticing how the air feels as it comes in through your nose or mouth. Just allowing that spotlight of attention in your brain to settle on the breath, just here for a moment. Now I want you to consider shifting attention to your body again. We're going to start at the top of the head and slowly move our way down. So shifting attention to your head and face, noticing the muscles in your forehead, around your eyes, jaw, lips. Just noticing, are those muscles soft or tense? Are these muscles still? Are they moving? And not that we're here to change anything. We're here to broaden awareness of everything that's talking back. So that we can open the signal a little bit to hear it better. Then moving down to the neck and shoulders. Perhaps feeling the weight of your head on your neck. Maybe noticing the position of your shoulders. Are they scrunched up like earrings? Are they a little bit looser, a little bit farther from the ears? And maybe noticing that there could be both areas of tension as well as looseness. Sometimes people may feel twitches of these muscles. The neck and shoulders are often an area that tends to respond to stress first for many, almost like your barometer. It never hurts to check in with this area. Then moving awareness down to the arms and hands, all the way from your shoulders down to your biceps and elbows, forearms, wrists, fingertips. Noticing any cool or warmth in this area of the body. Sometimes people may feel pulsing of their heartbeat into their fingers. Some people may notice tremor. And consider shifting focus to your chest and back. Again, sensing your breath as it moves in and out, which often means that the chest expands and contracts. Noticing where the back is meeting contact with your furniture. Sometimes people may have discomfort in these areas. That's okay. We're here to just notice. Slowly shifting attention down to your torso and your hips. Be noticing the muscles of your abdomen and how they're holding you upright. Some people may notice that they feel pretty solid. Some people may feel some instability or sway. Meeting it with kindness. And finally noticing your lower extremities, all the way from your thighs, down your knees, calves, ankles, feet, and feeling those pressure points on your feet where they may touch the floor. And if they don't touch the floor, where they meet the air. Any sensations of looseness or tightness, perhaps pressure or tingling, or even maybe stillness. Now that you have been able to scan from tip to toe, I want you to reflect on any moments of judgment as you scanned over your body, perhaps wishing something felt different. Maybe now noticing and being more aware of some of the pesky things that you try to make yourself unaware of. Maybe gently naming it. Frustration is here. Impatience is here. Self-criticism is here. And for any particular area where you feel such things, you can return with curiosity, saying, what is actually happening in this part of my body right now? Just imagining that you're shining a gentle light on each area, a light that helps to illuminate awareness, allowing it to be exactly as it is in this moment. And now I want you to consider bringing your attention back to the whole of your body, sensing yourself not as parts and pieces, but as a complete being, with all parts working together in this moment. Consider taking 3 slow, deep breaths, maybe offering yourself some kindness by saying, "May I meet my body with compassion." May I meet my body with compassion. Taking one more deep breath here. Taking a moment to recognize that the body is doing the best it can. It's working for you in every way it knows how. And being able to promote awareness can then help us to be able to better help it along. So when you're ready, coming back to a more active awareness of our Zoom space here, opening your eyes if they've been closed when it feels right, perhaps adding in a little bit of gentle movement to reshift. And hopefully coming into this space with a little more attunement to the things that your body may be telling you. I'll give you guys a moment to get there. As you kind of orient back, we will reopen the chat so that folks can provide some reflection on their practice today. I'm always curious to hear how it goes for folks because every time we do a meditation, it is going to feel different. Every single time is a new experience, and we can meet it with that sense of beginner's mind. And some days it's great, and some days it feels like the steepest hill we'll ever climb. So would love to hear what that journey was like for you guys today, because this one's tough. It's sometimes hard to pay attention to things within the body when sometimes we have tried to train ourselves to really not pay attention to what our body may be telling us. So I'm looking here, I've got quite a few people who say they feel more relaxed, more, oh, I like that, embodied. That's a good one. Grounded within yourself, present, refreshed, less tired. Someone said made me happy, peaceful. Oh, I love this. This is great. There are times when people are like, why on earth did you make me do this? I didn't want to pay attention to my body. So you guys are awesome with being able to be present with a body that isn't always necessarily telling you things that you always want to hear. But and that's where I think it comes in handy when you're able to pay attention, not just to the things that are yelling at you again, so it's tremor or rigidity or some other symptoms that can be really pesky and frustrating and overwhelming at times, but also what's whispering at you. And sometimes, if we can have a better sense of the forest for the trees when it comes to what our body's telling us, it helps us to again, dial down the static and be able to respond in kind as we need to. Okay. So several people said less tired, more relaxed. I really hope that this gets folks in a good space for the rest of their day. I know we're across many, many time zones, and so I can't say the rest of your afternoon necessarily. For some, it may be morning, afternoon, or evening, but I hope that this puts you in a better perspective for how you can go about your day. And with that, I will take it back to Krista.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Rush. I almost called you Taylor again.
It is my name, so I respond to both.
Well, I appreciate your grace, and thank you all for sharing in your company and your presence with us today. Mindfulness is a form of meditation. There was a question in there. It seemed like a meditation, and mindfulness is more than a formal practice of meditation, and we can get into the deeper depths of that and another time, what the difference is between practicing mindfulness and practicing meditation, and the two work really well together. So I want to thank you all for your presence on this Monday day, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you find this in the time of your day. And Dr. Rush, thank you again for guiding us through some awareness of our symptoms and where we are feeling in our bodies today. So appreciate you bringing us into that embodiment practice. Just a reminder for anyone who wants to join next week's session, we're going to be live here together on August 8th. We will be discussing mindfulness techniques that can help us support a restful night's sleep. And if you think you don't have trouble sleeping, I highly encourage you to come anyway. There's this really natural phenomenon that happens in Parkinson's where a lot of us may think that we're not having any struggles with sleeping until someone tells us that they're experiencing that. So just come, learn a little bit, hopefully something new, maybe something to strengthen a muscle that you're already aware of or strengthen a tool that you're really aware of. So come hang out with us mindfully next Monday. And of course, just a reminder that our helpline is here to support you. Please don't hesitate to call them if you have questions about medication, finding a support group, getting a new doctor, physical therapy, navigating Medicare, whatever subject it might be that's really charged for you right now in this experience of Parkinson's. Don't hesitate to reach out to our helpline. And our website as well has all kinds of information that you can refer to. Until soon, my friends, may you be well, may you find ease, and I'll see you again soon.